Yo, this is
Well, better late than never.
this is Derek from Mediocre Streams, along with Blake.
Blake from the Clown Squad.
Mick.
You should know me by now. I am the loud guy.
That doesn't change anything.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And we're here with a review of what game, Blake? What game are we talking about?
We are reviewing Outriders. I know it's a little late, but
These are called better
we are
late.
finally doing it.
These are called better late than never reviews, so it doesn't matter.
Right. Let's do this.
It's so I mean, you want to start with starting with 4 points. Wait. Oh wait, no, you're not saying anything. I didn't see the sound bars. 4 points. Story, graphics, visual sound, functionality, and gameplay, all rated on a scale of 1 to 5 for a total score of whatever out of 20. Blake, what do you want?
Yeah, we're not good with maths, so.
It says you. I got a calculator in front of me.
What are you saying?
I said, what do you want to start with?
What's the first point? I mean, I'm going off what you're saying, but
Okay.
I have some good
So,
points in my memory here.
So we're gonna start with story then.
Okay, we can do
All
that.
right. You actually paid attention. What's the story?
I did, and I will say that Derek did not pay attention, and
Yeah,
nor did he want to pay attention to
No.
it.
You're in space.
So obviously not a good start. So honestly, the story is pretty lackluster. It's not.
Well,
It's not a bad story, but
well,
it's
describe
not good.
the opening stuff, cause you described it all, and I had no idea.
Okay, so you go to this. You start off, and you're in this. You're on this new planet. They tell you that the reason why y'all left Earth was because of these Reapers, I think they called them. I don't remember what they called
No,
them.
you mix it with Mass
But-
Effect.
Yeah, it's weird. Same
Better
universe,
game.
apparently. But like we're on Enoch, this planet called Enoch, and we're basically the Outriders. So the Outriders are going to explore the planet, find those beacons to make sure like it's safe for all to send down all the other people. So all the rest of the Earthlings are in the ship, in the Flores is what they call it, in the ship waiting to come down and basically start a new colony. That's when shit hit the fan. So we're the Outriders, and we're finding the beacons, yada yada yada.
There's the
And-
anomaly, is what it's called, right?
Yes, the anomaly. And that's where everything goes bad. So we
It gives us
we head to the
superpowers.
forest because there's a beacon there, and
Well, don't
it
give
was
everything
giving
away.
off.
No, that's just the basic idea of the story. Is that
Okay, yeah, we can
yeah,
do
we're on
that,
like
we
some
can do that.
planet because something happened on Earth. And now we get
Yeah,
superpowers.
and that's one of the points with my thing in the story, is that it doesn't really go into detail as to why you left Earth. It just explains like you left Earth because of these things crawling and killing a whole bunch of people, but we don't know what they are. So like I'm thinking maybe you could have brought that up and maybe set up Outriders for like a second game or something. But you like blew that out of the way. So say you could have the Reapers come to Enoch and then you're doing the same thing over again. I don't know, but they don't really explain who they are. So it's almost like, why the fuck did we leave? It just explains that there was 2 ships and we're leaving Earth. That's it.
Yeah, and now we have superpowers thanks to the anomaly.
Yes.
That's what it is,
so
right?
Yeah. So the anomaly. Most people that come in contact with the anomaly die, but out of a few times people will survive, they become what do they call them again? Altered. They
Yeah.
become altered. So they're altered by the anomaly, and it gives them superhero powers. And most
Which explains
I don't-
why you have your 4 classes.
Yeah, you got the Technomancer, which Derek was the Techno. I was the Pyromancer, and I will say, the Pyromancer is a little bit underwhelming for me. It was good when it came. We'll talk about it in that gameplay, but anyways, I was the Pyromancer. Derek was Technomancer. And then there was a Devastator, which is with like an Earth type guy, and then the what was it, the Trickster? I
Yeah,
think
I
it
think it was
was.
Trickster.
That could like do space and time, which is probably the coolest one. I don't know why I didn't do that, but whatever.
Which one did Ethan do?
Ethan was the Devastator, but obviously we didn't play much. We'll get to that. I mean, they might have
Yeah.
seen it that previous video. Ethan didn't play with us too much, so basically the whole game was just me, the Technomancer, and the Pyromancer.
Yeah, and you get superpowers from this. That explains how you get your classes. And I mean, there's not really much else to talk about. It's really basic, like a really basic story.
Really?
I have pros
How should
and
we do that?
cons. That I
Okay,
have
yeah,
written
we
down.
can do that.
Okay, so
You
I
can
put
you can start. You can start.
for pro. I put decently lengthed, which I feel like it is. It's not.
Yeah. It's how long do you think it is? What, like 20 hours maybe?
I
If
mean,
that?
we did some of the side quests, of which there's a lot between like
Yeah, we did do that, but
bounties
then
and stuff.
we kind of like
Let's
it
just
was
get this
kinda
done.
almost- yeah, it was almost like kind of too long. Where it was like, all right. I will say with the side quests, there's a lot of them, but they're pretty much the same thing. So
Are-
it's not.
Are they predetermined, or is it all? It seems like a lot of it's just go here and kill this guy or this animal.
Yeah, that's what it is, and it's not the best side missions. There's a couple of them like throughout the story, but of a couple of side missions you go to, and you gotta like find this thing, or like that one. Remember with the old guy, and you're trying to find his daughter that was sending the letters, and it
Yeah.
actually wasn't the daughter. So there's some side missions like that, but most of the side missions you're gonna do are the wanted missions, and the like the legend, like the hunting missions where you're hunting big animals, pretty much, like big wildlife. But I mean that's pretty much it. So it's not like detailed, I would say.
We didn't find
Just
many.
like the average.
We didn't find many side quests that were actually like go on a mission and stuff.
Yeah, and
It was a lot of
they were just
bounties, is what it was.
yeah, and it was. I mean, it was just fine, but I mean, at least have a little bit of different like, and you know how when you killed the like when you would do the wanted missions, you would always kill the wanted guy in the same mannerism almost every time.
Yeah, it was the same.
It was like the Mafia 3
Yeah,
where they do
same
the same
animation.
animation.
Every
Yeah.
time.
So I was like, all right.
I don't know if this counts for story stuff, but it was pretty weird that they never really accounted for you having more than one player.
Yeah, the only thing they did, and does Destiny do that? I don't even know if Destiny does it.
No, Destiny
They
doesn't do
might.
that either. It's weird.
Yeah,
It's
so-
just one of those games where they give you a story, like they give you. It's 4 players total, but we were doing the 2 of us. It never accounted for that. It would. I
The
guess.
only thing,
I said. I
the
was,
only thing they did. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say. I guess it just like would when a cutscene to happen, it would be whoever you're playing as. So it was me when I was through my screen. It was you through your screen.
Yeah,
It never
it was
had
me.
both of us on it at the same time, which is
Well, the
odd.
only they did do like just like I would show up like it'd be the cutscene. And this was only on like really important parts, which none of the stories are very important, but the important parts is the game wants it to be important. You would like show up in the background, but like
Yeah.
you weren't like there right next to me. It was just like in the background, and I was like, "Oh, there you are!" And then it just cuts to another scene, and then you're nowhere to be seen. It's just me again.
Yeah.
So it was like, there was no point in adding
Was
that.
there-
If they were just gonna.
Was there a point where we were both in the cutscene at the same time? I swear there was like one
Yeah,
point,
there.
which
Yeah,
is
there
weird.
was one. I think there was like one or two, and it was just like you were there for an instant, and then you were just not there. So it was like almost why there was no point.
Yeah. As far as characters go, anyone that you felt was like, I like
No,
I
I
liked
didn't-
Jakob. I thought he was a good character.
He was.
Like he was funny and like an asshole, but he actually had like a good, like he was actually a good dude at the end of it all.
Yeah, and I did like I did like was remember when you first go to the planet, her name was Shinra, and she was like a
Yeah.
young like
Shira.
redhead, and then yeah, Shira, that's what it's called.
That's what it's called.
Like she's like young redhead that's wants to be there, wants to be at the new world, and then when all everything
Oh yeah,
goes
I guess we should
to
say
hell.
there's a 30-year skip.
Like I think it's like 20 years.
Yeah, it's like you start at the beginning of the game, stuff happens, and it skips ahead like 20, 30 years.
Yeah, you basically go into a cryopod. So essentially we probably should have got into that, but essentially, they sent down all the humans from the pods, which was not a good idea because they didn't have enough food for everybody or anything. So then, you know what that would turn out to? It'd be all-out war and fighting. So that's essentially what happens when you wake up 20 years from now. There's just a huge all-out war.
Yeah.
And then that Shira girl that was all optimistic at the start, red hair,
Oh, yeah.
you find her, and she's kind of just a bitch
She's
with gray hair.
gotten all cynical and shit. She's like,
Yeah,
this.
that's interesting to me because it's just like interesting because that would probably happen in real life. Like they're just so optimistic, and then now like pretty much all hope is gone.
Yeah,
So,
because
but then which is weird. I thought she was gonna be like a main character.
yeah.
Like she was gonna go with you, but essentially she's in the first part of the game and then gone. Like you don't hear from her again, which is weird.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that. But I thought she was an interesting character. She could have been more fleshed out. But I do like Jakob sometimes. Sometimes it can get annoying. But pretty much the other characters are pretty much useless.
I like the Gorilla
Like
Man.
Oh, dude, yeah, the Gorilla Man. Oh,
Yeah,
You never mind. A1 character right there.
I can't remember what's his name.
Oh, I don't even know. We
Okay,
just called him Gorilla
Yeah,
Man.
there's a guy in the game whose voice actor, it's a great voice, but he sounds like he would be playing like a gorilla, like Gorilla Grodd or something.
Yeah,
With
it's
a
just
really
like kind
deep
of
voice.
ridiculous. Yeah, it's really ridiculous.
It's a
but
great voice, but we were just like, it's like a gorilla, man.
Yeah, so so that kind of took away every time we
Yeah.
saw him. We just laughed pretty much. But other than that, there's like no really good characters. Like Chana, I think her name is, the one that Jakob is like her dad, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which isn't really a spoiler. I mean, it's not.
He's father-like, and they kind of set that up. Like
Yeah, they set that
he's a
pretty
father
early,
figure.
so. Which I mean, they don't really go into that relationship at all. It's only like on when you're fighting other people and you're not trying to listen to dialogue and they start talking. You're like, okay, I don't really give a shit.
And the main character, it's would you describe it as cringy or just like overly trying to be
It's
cool?
it's just trying to be cool. And, like how we dome everybody that we see.
There's
we just shoot them in the
so
head.
many fucks in this game. They say it like every other sentence.
Fuck off.
Fuckers.
First fucking day.
Yeah, we were just at one point we were like counting them. So it was like, there's another one. There's another one. There was like 5 in a row. We're like, what is going on right now?
Yeah.
It's almost like a child wrote the script.
This is from People Can Fly, the last game I played was Bulletstorm.
Oh, such a good game,
Yeah.
dude.
And that was full of just like cursing and all kinds of shit. Like they.
Yeah, I mean, like fuck Outriders, dude. I want another Bulletstorm.
Well, we'll see. But
doubt it'll happen.
anything else you gotta say about the story?
The characters, like I was talking about that Chana girl, and she is mostly annoying throughout the whole game. To me, she is, because she just like whines like a fucking baby, and she just whines that like the world's so cruel to her, whatever, and that other girl Bailey, that I'm not gonna try to spoil anything.
The game,
But they're always fighting, and then at the end of the game, they're like, "Oh, I love you," and it's like
the game
okay.
tries to straddle being serious and being like funny over the top at times. And
Yeah,
it just doesn't really work.
The story for me is not that good.
I gave it.
Go ahead.
I gave it a 3 out of 5 because
That's very generous.
it's serviceable for getting through the game.
So you think so? Like, is a 3 an average for you?
Yeah, it's
or-
average. It is. It's good enough to where you understand somewhat what's going on, and it works as a way to get you from fight to fight.
Yeah. So, I would give mine a 2 out of 5. Probably because I was more in tune or like more paying attention to the story than Derek was.
Yeah.
Because at one point Derek was like, I have no idea what's going on, so I'm not even gonna pay attention. So I was like, all right, I'll just pay attention for the both of us. But I'd give it a 2 out of 5. It's definitely below average. It's like, and the main thing is the loot, and we'll get into that. But
Wait, the more you pay attention, the worse it got.
yeah, it's bad, man. It's not good. Like there is a main bad guy, but there is no main. I don't think he has any lines in the story.
Unclear as to who the main bad guy was, because it seemed like it was switching
Yeah, there is no. There is no. I thought it was going to be that Moloch guy, and it doesn't really explain what happened to him either, so that's kind of weird. But he wasn't the main bad guy, even though Seth kind of told us he was like the main bad guy. And then it was this. I don't want to say his name because I don't want to spoil anything. But the main bad guy, I guess you could say, didn't. I don't think he had one dialogue in the game. Like I don't think he said one thing. Which is, and we don't. And by the way, we have no idea who this guy is. He's just out of nowhere leading this tribe, and he's just like no backstory of who this guy is. Nothing. It's very lackluster, and it seems like they didn't even fucking try, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
With the story part, I'll say that with the story part.
So 2 for you, 3 for me.
2 for me. Yep.
All right, and on to our next point. This is gonna be quite a blast.
Yeah, this is the big one right here.
Yeah, if there's anything this game is known for in its short time, it's this. This is the functionality section.
Fuck off.
Yeah, if anybody has seen one review of this game or knows anything about this game, they know how god awful the functionality is.
Yeah, this. I mean, where do you want to start? There's so many places to go.
I guess we could start with our first impressions of the game, like our first ever impressions, and our first impressions were not good, to say the least.
Yeah, well, like as far as how it all works, like we'll get to the gameplay, but like as far as like actual how the game functions, oh my god.
It is a absolute shit show, if I'm gonna be honest.
Like, I mean, it's really hard to. Where do you want to start? Like the lag, the audio, the crashes.
Yeah,
like,
let's start with the fucking crashes, because that is what this game was known for.
Yeah, this game.
So
this game crashes like a
God.
freaking. What's an analogy? Like cars at a demolition derby.
It's like so bad that like it's like one of those things where it's so bad you just have to keep your eyes on it, like one of those type things.
Like, would you say like every time we played it crashed for one of us at some point?
Yeah,
yeah, like,
for sure.
At least...
It was at least one of us. I think Derek, you had more problems than I did. Maybe because I was hosting. That's probably the only reason why.
It was like every like 30 minutes, 20 minutes in, it would crash. And like in the middle of gunfights, it would crash. So one of us would be out.
It was at the worst times too. I was like, what is going on? So then when he would crash, it'd leave me with just a god awful, like just a shit ton of people, like just killing me, and I'm just like, great. So we both lost loot.
Yeah.
And Derek would lose. If you crash, you lose your loot. Like you don't get it. You don't get your loot. So there's that.
It seems like they fixed some stuff, I guess, because I remember
it definitely got better.
Yeah, when we
definitely got better.
First played, there was the hilarious thing where we got killed the boss battle, and when we went back to where the doorway that we're supposed to go through, it was closed, but the guys were still on the other end, and we could shoot through the door at them, but we couldn't actually go through.
Yeah, and then my ability, this is when I played as the Trickster, which I should have played it when we did the duos, but when I was able to teleport inside the door and fight the people by myself, but once I killed everyone in there, because, you know, Derek and Ethan helped me out, the captain didn't spawn. So, essentially, we couldn't beat the quest.
Yeah,
so
we couldn't leave.
Then I think that was at late at night, so we were just like, you know what, fuck it. And I think that was the last time Ethan ever played with us. So.
Ethan respawned underground.
Yeah, it's just... that was our, like, first ever impressions. That was, like, early on in the game, and it was just like, wow.
It's like going on a blind date and she's missing her teeth and her eyes
Yeah.
and her
It's like the catfish.
fingers.
The catfish does basically.
This is like finding out she's a big mouth bass.
Yeah, dude. I was saying, I was telling Derek because if I didn't get this on Game Pass, and I bought it for
Oh my
$60,
god, if you bought
I'd
this for
be
$60,
I would be so fucking mad.
dude. Yeah, if you paid full price for this, you were probably furious.
Oh yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you be? It was just, and here's my thing with it too, is I can handle the crashes, or you know, it still pisses me off.
Yeah, you can rejoin, like
Yeah,
it's pretty
it's
easily.
not hard to rejoin, but the thing is that the Outriders, like the what do you call it? The social media team. Here's because I don't think Derek really got into this.
I think that weren't they shitty?
They were almost like it was almost insulting. They were like almost being kind of assholes about it, and I don't know if you could find a tweet about it.
I didn't know about
but they
this.
were almost I might be able to send you a tweet, but they were almost like it wasn't a big deal. Like was like, oh well, we fixed it, and it really wasn't fixed, and they were like,
dude,
it was just being assholes, and I was like, well, why are you gonna do this to the people that bought your game? So you're already alienating them even more. So I was just like, this makes me not want to play this game because of these fucking assholes.
Yeah,
so your game sucks. Your game crashes every 5 seconds, and then you want to be an asshole on social media. You almost sound like Bethesda there for a second.
dude. Yeah. I also got the just general audio issues. Sometimes gunshots wouldn't there be no noise. Sometimes it'd be
Yeah, I got that too.
the chattering sound. It's not like teeth chattering or popcorn.
Yeah, or this gun sounds are god awful.
Yeah.
You might have heard that, but they sound like popcorn. So I don't know who designed those fucking guns, but they're awful. And then the like, you know how sometimes they're like for me, sometimes when they would talk, their lips wouldn't move, so it was just kind of just odd to
saw
see
that
that.
too.
I was like, what the hell? I guess for gameplay, or would that be considered gameplay?
No, well, because
What about voice acting? Would that be functionality? Or would that just be
I guess
gameplay?
that'd be
I don't know.
graphics, visuals, and sound.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Well,
you're right.
because I'm thinking
Well-
like if this counts as gameplay or not, because the cover system was bad.
Yeah, you can get into that with gameplay. We can get into that, but
Uh,
the overall functionality was just it was
I also had
it.
this where because there's aim assist obviously because you're on console, but it would
Yeah.
like lock onto them, and I wouldn't even have to have my hands on the controller. My guy would just follow where a dude was going at center mass.
Yeah, you did tell me that. You did
Yeah,
tell me
I was
that,
like,
that you had
what
problems
the
with
hell
that.
is this? Who programmed this? I don't know if that's just the bad programming or if that's something my gun can do. But it was like,
yeah.
and I would like try to like leave that target to go somewhere else, but it wouldn't let me because it was just locked onto him. Like, this game.
It's not, I'm not saying it's like the worst game, but
I mean, it's a testament to why you should make sure your
test
game.
your fucking games, yes, before you release them. I mean, I'm not a game developer, but God, how hard can it be? Like, seriously.
Well,
Like, you should have known that your game was going on Game Pass, so people were gonna get it. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people were gonna buy it, or get it off of Game Pass. Like, that's just a good deal in itself. And now you're getting this AAA title, so why wouldn't you buy it?
well,
You know,
it's
so
just
like,
the general trend of games like this where they come out broken, and it just takes.
which is really starting to piss
Yeah.
me off.
And then now,
honest with
instead
you.
of working on more content, now they got to fix all this. They don't.
And I still don't know if they're like even like done with it, because we were near to the end of the game, and this was weeks after it was released, and we were still getting like kicked.
Yeah. Like
So
they got to work on this. This game is nowhere near. This is like the dough is still mushy.
oh yeah, this was
If you eat this, you'll
This
get
was-
salmonella.
yeah, this is a tweet 4 hours ago. Friday news, we believe we have identified one of the core underlying reasons for lack of the damage mitigation in certain circumstances. We are compiling and testing a new build with this fix included. So there's just shit. They're patching everything.
Yeah.
So they're still patching it to this day.
I mean, good on them for doing that, but yeah, should have made sure that was not you. You fix all this before you released it.
Yeah, this game was not ready.
Like they need,
Was not ready to be released.
like
Not ready at
devs
all.
need to cut this shit out. I mean, maybe it's not even the devs, because a lot of it's the publishers just being like, you got to put this out. But they need to cut that shit out, man. This is not good. I mean, you saw the Angry Joe
Yeah.
review where his friend basically laid it all out. Like,
Yeah, and he's so right. Like it's like, why are people? It's almost like people are defending this, and it's like, why? How would you ever defend this?
I mean, I think it's because, and we can get to it next if you want, because of the gameplay. I think we can get to that next if you want to.
See, here's a tweet. Well, we'll get to that. But here's a tweet that the Outriders just tweeted. This was this was last month on the 4th. They say servers today are looking fine with like the eye emoji, and we're at our highest player peak to date. So that's saying, oh, our servers look okay. We're not the best, but we have a lot of player count. That's literally what that means. And I'm like, why would you?
I mean, I guess that speaks to the gameplay itself, and we'll get there. That like there is that core that people are latching onto despite the problems.
Yeah, and that's why there's people playing it, because the gameplay is.
Well,
But we'll get
if you
into
wanna
that.
give
So
your score, and then you want to do gameplay next.
yeah, God, I don't even know where to. I almost want to say like a 1 for functionality.
I gave it a 1.5.
1.5. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. You know what? I'll do that. I'll give it
Yeah.
a 1.5. 'Cause I don't want to give it a 2. That's for sure. It's definitely below average, like below average. So it's not. Have you ever given one a 0, by the way?
No, I have not played a game that is that bad. I generally try to stay away from super terrible games.
Yeah, that's true.
This
This honestly, this functionality could be a fucking 0.
This
but
is like
it wasn't.
the first game I played at launch. It was just like
It was broken. Yes,
bad.
I haven't played a game like this since like Battlefield 4, when the servers were just broken. So, and maybe we just played it at a bad time. I guess I don't know, but yeah. I could almost give it a 0, but I'll give it a
1.5.
1.5.
All right, on to the gameplay section, which I think we both agree this is where the game excels.
This game definitely excels with the gameplay.
Yeah.
Combat is fast. It's fun. I have like a couple nitpicks with it, but it's nothing that I would say like brings down the gameplay.
Well, it's got this heal mechanic to it, where I think it's different for each class how you heal from doing damage.
Yeah, how does the Technomancer do
Okay,
it? 'Cause I'm
from
not quite sure.
what I've learned, I think it's just any damage, so like shooting.
Okay,
like,
that's for the Technomancer, or that's for anyone?
that's for me, because I think you as the Pyromancer does. It's when you do fire damage, correct?
Yeah. When they're on fire, I heal a lot. So like my volcanic rounds, which is a really good skill for me that I put like all my skills into. Volcanic rounds. So essentially, if I got them on fire, I'm gaining health.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, you were the Technomancer, right? Or not the Trickster.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was originally. So with that, I think that was I think the Trickster is more of a shield, like more of shielding, because when I would get them with my time space, I would get a lot of shield instead of health.
okay, because there is.
So I don't know how. I don't know exactly how it worked.
There is
but
armor
there is
on
armor.
top of your shield, or your
Yeah.
health.
Yeah, but I don't. I think the Trickster is like Trickster and Devastator are the builds that do like the shield instead of the health.
Yeah, and
So, which was a weird. It was a good mechanic, but here's my but point. If they were gonna just go all out with that, there was no need for a cover system.
yeah,
Because a cover system doesn't make any sense when you have that kind of system on it.
yeah.
you know?
And with the way the mods work, where you can really increase your health gain from damage output. I saw a review that described it's like the Doom's push forward mechanic. You know what that is in Doom?
Like which one?
It's they call it push forward, where it's really about encouraging you to keep going and not slow down on your combat.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Like Doom, where it's just fast paced, everything.
yeah,
Yeah, cause I remember you seeing the Technomancer with that light machine gun, or like the machine gun or the minigun, whatever you call it.
yeah,
And you were just like gaining. You weren't losing any health because
yeah,
you were just blasting them with bullets. And
and
so I would do the same thing if I had my volcanic rounds. I would need to be in cover. I would just continuously fire with that, and I would just gain health as they shoot me.
yeah, and
So there was almost not a point to have cover. It was kind of useless at that point.
let me pull up the skills if you want to describe the abilities.
Yeah.
'Cause
So
let's say that like there's
But-
the four we described the four classes: Technomancer, Pyromancer, Trickster, and Devastator.
Yeah.
Each are pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
But
It's pretty much like the. It's almost like you could have a avatar type thing. So you get a Devastator, which is Earth. Pyromancer is Fire. And then you get the Technomancer, which is weapons and stuff, and then the Trickster. I think the Trickster was the one they kind of wanted you to use because it was almost like the coolest. Like if you were gonna do a solo, they would be like, "Oh, Trickster's coolest."
I don't know,
So,
because and it's pretty. And this is one thing that I absolutely love about the game is how many abilities there are. There's like 6 per class, right?
yeah, it's very, very, very cool abilities.
And you, as you level up and reach certain levels, you unlock new ones. So like, I started out with blighted rounds, which are like toxic because there's different elemental damage.
Yeah,
Like you get like a mag of toxic rounds, and then I had the cryo turret, which speaks for itself. But then I could get a rocket barrage, and then I could summon a minigun or a rocket, or I could get like a it's like cold snap. I think it's like it freezes people around you. So, and what was the
yeah.
stuff you could get?
Let me see here, but I'm pretty sure. So my first one, I think it was like Feed the Flame. So I think that one was like where I kind of just did like a fire. It's kind of hard to explain, but it was like he did both of his hands, and it was kind of like a.
You like
Oh, it was
raise
Heat Wave.
because
Yeah, it was summon a fiery wave. So it was like a heat wave almost. So the second one I had was Feed the Flames. And that one where I pull an enemy towards me and I just deal damage. And then I used Thermal Bomb a lot. You remember that one where I'd hit the
Yeah.
ground? And then, so that one was really cool. I would just hit the ground and go, like, fire would go towards them. And then if I hit them and then, like, I kill them with my gun, or anybody kills them, they would, like, explode and, like, hurt everybody else. So the
Yeah.
abilities are very cool. Like, they have different types of things connected with that like skill. Like you have the heat wave that I had is ignite ability, so it just sets people on fire. But my thermal bomb, it has explosive and interrupt abilities, so it would just interrupt people. So it has like different kind of subclasses to the skills, which is really cool.
yeah, and combined with the skill tree, because there's also the skill tree where you put points into
And it's huge.
Yeah,
if you,
there's
if
a-
you want to show a picture of that.
a bunch of skills you can get, a bunch of upgrades along these
Yeah,
3
so,
different
you know,
trees.
Yeah, so you can go on like Reddit or something like that and look up a build that you want. So you can pick different skills that go with that build. They did the skill trees and the skills very, very good.
Yeah,
Whoever did that, I applaud them. They
yeah,
did
there's
very
great
well.
flexibility for like I
Yeah.
want to do a big soak up damage and get a lot of heals build, or I'm gonna put it all in my abilities, or
Yeah, so they gave whoever did that gave the game a lot
Yeah.
of potential with like just DLC and stuff like that. So congrats on whoever did
Yeah.
that.
and we say as far as enemies go.
So I mean the enemies. There was a how do you say a diverse enemy portfolio, I guess you could say. I don't know
Yeah.
how to say it, but
Because you got,
um
I mean, it's pretty like you're pretty standard.
yeah, it's standard, but I like there's a lot. So you got
Yeah.
your typical gunner, so the different like tribes and stuff like that. You got your gunner, you got your heavy gunner, you got your altered captains, which are like just altered like us. They're just a
Yeah.
little bit weaker than us.
A lot of
Um,
well, in general, just like your dudes that you got snipers, you got the middle
yeah, yeah,
dudes, you got
yeah.
the dudes that run up to get you, heavy guys, and then there's the animal enemies, which
I
I've
really liked fighting the
yeah,
animals.
cause
I don't know if you did,
yeah,
but
yeah, cause I would say the human enemies were really cause a lot of them would get in your face, and they would
yeah,
deal.
that's. Go ahead.
Well,
Sorry.
like it was the combination of how they would get in your face and deal a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's like that was one of the parts I was gonna say that the one of my cons that I didn't like about the gameplay was that example right there, and that's why I liked playing the animals better, even though they did kind of rush you. So, I mean, but they're animals, so you kind of expect that, right? So, but when you have the humans and you have supposed to have this cover-based mechanic, you have these. Okay, yeah, they have shotguns, right? So they gotta
Yeah.
get close to you. But it gets to a point where it's literally like, okay, we get it. There's like so many of them just rushing,
Yeah.
literally bum rushing you. And you're like, what's going on? Why is there even a cover mechanic if I'm gonna have to get out of cover anyways to
Yes.
get away from these mongoloids?
It's
Like
exactly in
even the
my
captains that have these abilities that allow them to be away from us and can hit us from afar, they still come super close to us and allow us to just absolutely spray them. So I'm like, why? What was the point in that? Like, that
yeah.
really pissed me off. That's one knock that I
It's
have about
all
the
just
gameplay.
the overall balancing of like the humanoid enemies against the animal enemies in terms of like the damage they deal and the damage they take. Where like
Yeah,
the human guys could take a bunch of damage and they put out a bunch of damage, so it was like a bitch to fight them. Meanwhile,
yeah.
the animal enemies, what were they called? Like
The Proforo or some
perfor-
shit like that.
yeah, they were very balanced. Where they
Yeah,
would get up in your face, they could hurt you, but it was never like super hard. They always felt
yeah.
like
You had the Alpha Proforos, which are those big, like almost like Chargers, like the huge like Chargers of Left 4 Dead.
yeah,
They had just the big arm. Those guys were strong. I liked fighting the alphas when you
yeah,
have like a whole bunch of them. They just jump across the map and come. So that's the cool thing. And then you had like the small Perforos, which were just like the basic horde enemies that you just take out in seconds. And then they had the venomous, like the ranged enemies. Um, but you also had different animals. Like you had the guys with remember in the sand place those what were they called? But you know what I'm talking about.
yeah,
They were in the sand. But there were definitely different animals that were really cool. Like you had those flying ones were cool to fight. Um, remember
yeah,
that one battle we had where you crashed? This was funny. You crashed, and there was just so much animals. I don't know
yeah.
if you remember that, but that thing was crazy. That was just a fun fight because there was just animals everywhere. But I will say, yeah, the animals are definitely funner to fight than fucking humans. Those guys pissed me off.
Yeah, and the boss fights I thought overall were really fun, especially the bounty
Yeah,
bosses.
yeah, they were. So when we were, I think we were world tier like 9 or something like that.
Oh,
But
cause
when you got up there, man, those guys are just like bullet sponges, and they can hurt you really quickly.
yeah. I
Um,
I mean, as a
so
looter game, the enemies in general are very bullet spongy.
yeah, and I mean, that's what you get from a looter shooter. Even though it's not my favorite type of game, but I mean, that's what you get. But it makes more sense here than it does in other games.
Yeah, and I had a point that I was gonna make that I just completely forgot on. Oh, I guess
Well, that was Derek for you.
yep. Shut your mouth. God, I had it. I had it when we were talking about the enemies.
Here, I'll go, but
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll let you think about it. But there was one boss fight that's really cool. Like, remember the huge guy when you first went in the forest? Remember that?
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm kind of spoiling things, but that was a really cool fight, even though you kind of stayed in one area. Really cool. I really like that one. And remember I think my favorite one. Remember the freaking spider in the volcano?
yeah. This is like
That was a really, really good fight.
it's like
Like
the
you had
first
all the
boss.
different. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
almost like the first boss, and I was like, why would you use this as your first boss? This is a really good boss fight.
yeah. We
'Cause
didn't
we
fight
were just in
anything
this.
that big ever again. I was
except
disappointed
for
in
that one. Yeah, that one. But that one was cool because you had that arena, and then you had lava, and it was like tearing the lava up. So you had to watch out your below. You had to watch out like your surroundings, and then you also had to watch out for the big motherfuckers. So that was a very, very good boss fight. Very well done on that. But the other boss fights were kind of just mediocre, just like eh. And the last boss fight's bullshit. I don't know if we'll get into
no,
that.
because a lot of them have
Bullshit ass fight, dude.
no, because a lot of them just have a fight pattern to them that once you pick up on it, you're able to beat them.
It's pretty easy after that. But fuck that last boss fight, dude.
And they're overall enjoyable. And what do you think about the loot as far as all that goes?
Oh, whoever did the loot, they did amazing on the loot. I think there's a lot of different stuff, and we'll get into this after the loot section. But with the crafting, dude, we got to get into that gameplay.
Yeah.
But with the crafting, that thing is amazing. But anyways, the loot is very well done. Like you can tell when you have a legendary gun. It just looks. Legendary guns look very well. Obviously, we didn't see all of them. But it's very well done. I will say that. There's a lot of loot too. But you like it when we had those common items, and then we got to the uncommon, then we got the rare, and then we finally got the epic. We were like, once we got all the epic, we looked badass. It was like kind of cool how you went from like looking like a scrub to, you know.
Oh yeah, there's definite like you feel like you are getting more powerful as you go along because you get
So I think
better and better stuff, cooler and cooler stuff.
yeah, the loot was very well done, I think, and that's also the point why people keep coming back. The only thing I have about the loot, which is almost a nitpick, it's not too big of a problem, is that there weren't as much legendaries as I was hoping.
Yeah,
I think we only got 2 the whole game.
They lowered it at some point, which
which
did
was
not
really
make people
dumb.
happy.
Yeah, obviously, because you want to play the game with legendaries. But the whole time we played throughout the main story, we only had 2 legendaries, which was pretty like kind of and the last legendary we got was after the main story, so it was like almost like I don't know if I liked that part. We didn't get enough legendaries as I would have liked.
Yeah, I mean I guess I didn't put too much into the cover system in the previous point. But
Yeah, you can get on that.
Yeah, but expand on that. It's just it's really awkward how you like, was it A to go to cover?
Yeah, sometimes you would like snap in a cover that you wouldn't want to be, so
Yeah.
you're like, okay, this is what the hell, I didn't want to be here. Or you would like snap into cover and like an open cover, and I'm like, I wasn't supposed to be here.
Or sometimes I'll because you can disassemble loot to use for crafting.
Oh yeah,
But
you
and to
told
do
me
that,
You
and
did
to do
one time.
that, you hold down A. But sometimes if you're near cover, after you scrap it, you'll just go to cover. It's like, no, I didn't mean to do that.
Yes.
Some
The cover is pretty clunky. I said, there's really no reason to have it. To be
like
honest with
moving
you, so.
around from like to like a corner. If you're on cover, you have to press A again. So like most games, you just automatically go there.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awkward.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not. It doesn't. I don't think it takes away super hard from the gameplay.
Yeah.
If you want to get into crafting, because I think
Yeah,
I liked it, but I
Yeah.
think you were more into it than I was.
Well, it's just like really cool ways of taking your loot and changing mods around, leveling it up. Guns and loot will have different attributes like health gain from dealing damage or extra armor, extra health, and you can improve those. And you just you take loot, scrap it to get different upgrade components. There's also like minerals. I think it's just iron is like the mineral that's around the map that you
Yeah, you get
mine.
the leather too. Yeah.
Yeah, and you gather all that stuff to play around with your loot to make it fit whatever playstyle you're going for. And I really enjoyed that. Like I'll be in that menu and you'll be like, let's go. I'll be like, nah, I gotta change all my stuff.
It takes fucking forever to do that, by the way. So that was awesome. But I really enjoyed the crafting. Like I got to a point because Like there's a lot of those mods.
Yeah.
Those mods, there's so many of them that you can add to your weapons and your armor. And like some of the mods that I could add was I could do one more of the volcanic rounds. So once I reload, so usually like in the original, once I reload, then I have to use regular bullets, but I could do it twice in a row. So I was just dealing out damage.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that you could add to your mods or add to your guns was really, really cool. There were so many of them, which was awesome. Like the overall crafting, just like it was just a really good system, and I really appreciate whoever did that. That was
Yeah.
very, very well done.
Yeah. Needless to say,
It took a lot of time to do that. I will say that.
The gameplay, I think it's easy. That's where people are latching onto, and just like
Yeah, 100%.
even with all the game's problems, it's really fun gunplay. It's really fun crafting and modding. Fun abilities to because you can only equip 3 at a time, and you can change them out when you want. And just playing around with those to do these boss fights, and we just beat the game, and there's a whole end game stuff that we still need to get
Yeah,
into.
we didn't even get into that, and I think we gotta commend whoever did that too, because apparently the end game is really, really well done. Like there's like certain expeditions you can do, and there's actually like a thing where you can go like to the Eye of the Storm. So we haven't even done that. So I don't even know if that's like what that entails or anything. So I mean, like I said, we didn't really get into it. I would probably like to get into it, but I mean, maybe a different time. If it stops crashing so much, maybe.
Yeah.
But let's not this gameplay and the good stuff about it. Let's not take away from the shitty crashing that it was doing. So, but very good gameplay.
Yeah. I gave
And
it.
that's what kept us coming
Yeah.
back. So
I gave it a 4 out of 5. I think it's excellent.
4 to 5. That's what I was gonna do. That's what I was gonna do.
In many ways, it does make up for the issues.
Yeah, because we wanted to see what loot we would get. We wanted to come back and see which boss we would fight. So we wanted to go back and do that, and that's what kept us coming.
Yeah.
But,
Yep. It's just something that's like, man, if you guys just released a functioning game, like this would be
you would
big.
have-
This would be a pretty big
Yeah.
game, I'd say, because there's so much fun to be had with its looting and customizing.
yeah, for sure. And I almost wish they had a 4-player, because you could only do a 3-player, and that was kind of weird because they had
Yeah.
4 classes. So I'm not sure why they did that. That was kind of a weird thing that I was thinking the other day. I was like, why would they do only 3 players? So maybe we could add Jack in on it, but so me, you, Jack, and Ethan.
Yeah.
But I don't know why they had 4 classes and only did 3 people you could play, or 3 people that could play together. It's odd, but whatever. I mean,
I guess just to mix things up, because I feel like you could get like very overpowered if there's 4 people on a single target. Right?
oh yeah, but I guarantee you they made it a lot harder if you did.
Did you talk about the world tiers real quick?
Oh yeah, I can do that. I did like that about the game too. You had like certain modifiers when you'd go up a world tier, but it got to a point where it got insanely hard. It was like, oh Jesus, we were getting like one shot by snipers and stuff.
Yeah.
I think the highest we might have gotten is 10. I'm not sure. But yeah, it got pretty intense. I'll say that, and that's what I liked about it, is it could get really intense really quickly. And we actually didn't die too much, but there was points where we did die, and it was kind of really annoying. But I did like the world tiers. I think it goes up to 15. I think, so I can't even imagine how hard it probably is.
Yeah.
But we were at like world tier 10, and we weren't getting legendary. So I wonder.
Yeah, they need
when
to
is the
readjust that, definitely.
when is the point when we get to those legendaries? You know, it's like 15. So I don't know. But I did like that. I did like how they added that world tier thing.
So solid 4 out of 5 is what you would give it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And now to the final point: graphics, visuals, and sound.
Yes. Here
Yeah.
is the. This is a good one. I like this one just because. Yeah. Okay. You have to play the freaking that one video of of August and
Yeah, we gotta find. I gotta find that because I wasn't recording when we.
voice acting. I actually,
Everyone did a good job.
yeah, the voice acting for our character, especially if I don't know, you did the girl, right?
And my first character was a guy. Second character was a girl.
So the guy was actually pretty decent. Like he was actually really kind of a decent voice
Yeah.
actor.
But
But voice acting was good.
the woman
How was the girl?
was pretty. She was at first, but she got okay. Yeah, I don't know who did the voices.
Yeah, but the other voice actings were decent. Like you gotta love Gorilla Man. Gorilla Man's
Yeah.
voice. Hey, we just laughed at sometimes when I don't want to spoil what happens, but
Okay. I have no idea who any of these voice actors are.
yeah, he gets in trouble at one point, and he's just like screaming. He's like, "Help! Help!"
They're everywhere.
It's just like funny
It really-
listening to that.
Everyone says, and then you just hear, they're everywhere.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know if you recorded that. That was so.
I think I might have.
Oh my god, that was so weird. Oh man, he was like, "They're everywhere." Like after everyone was done screaming, I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that just happened."
Gun sounds we already talked about. They sometimes
Yeah, the
mess
popcorn
up.
sounds.
It sound really
But you
bad.
gotta get into that one girl's voice acting where she's screaming with
Yeah.
that is really bad. Really, 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 really bad. Like where she's screaming with that shard she has in her hand, and she's like, and I'm like, what is going on right now? It's just like funny to see.
We got
And then when Gorilla Man was getting attacked,
Yeah.
and he's like, help, help. It's like good stuff.
environments are pretty good, I'd say. There's
Yeah,
there's a bunch of them.
There's a variety, which I like. The places you go, like there's snow, there's desert, there's forest, you know. They have a lot of environments, and it's very nice to see. I will say that.
Armor and guns look this goes to what we were saying about like the higher level you get, the better things look. So you
Yeah,
start
they
with
do
like
look badass.
what was it, like a freaking tracksuit or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
or,
like a
really shitty-
tunic that you're.
Yeah, and then you go up and you're just wearing like this really awesome armor and like bones on your armor and shit.
Yeah, I remember that first legendary you got. It looks pretty badass. Like the legendaries look really good. Like whoever designed those, I think the weapons look really good. And the epic armor looks cool as well. So
And a lot of gore. The game, people can fly. Looking at Bulletstorm, it's not a surprise that like, you could shoot people's heads off and stuff.
yeah.
Or like guys will disintegrate, and you'll just see like their charred skeleton.
Yeah, and I will say I don't know if this might be graphics, but when I would use it was actually very I was actually surprised, but when I would use my pyromancer skills, it would like the grass below me, like if I was on grass or something like that, it would like turn gray, like I burned it. So that was really cool how they
Yeah.
did that. So
And
they actually, did something or like tried. So
overall, it's not amazing looking in many ways. Like I wouldn't say it's next gen.
yeah, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad by
It's
any
got
means.
a lot of details in certain areas. It looks fine. It runs pretty well. Yeah. At points.
At
We're playing
points,
on
yeah.
Xbox One, so who knows how it runs on
Whoa! Don't put me in the
Oh wait, that's right.
one
Well, how did
community.
it run for you, Mr. Series X?
I was Mr. Series X. It's probably definitely better than yours. I had a little bit of spikes here and there, but it was never too bad.
Was it at 60 FPS?
I think yeah, 100%. It was at 60 FPS. It ran good. But like I said, I had a little bit of spikes, but nothing where I was like, yeah, what's going on?
Yeah.
But probably better than the experience that you had.
Pretty. It almost feels like early, last gen.
Think?
Yeah, like, early 2013, 2014, Xbox One, PlayStation 4 game.
Yeah.
You know, it's got its
And
details and whatnot, but it's not spectacular.
yeah, that's for sure. But dude, you gotta add that one where she's screaming. Please add
I'll
that.
find it.
That is the best. I remember when I was watching the Angry Joe review and he showed that. I was like, what is going on? That was before I even played this game. I was like, what the hell is going on? I was like, I think I was the whole game I was waiting for that to happen, and it was like so good when I finally found it.
Uh, fucking ridiculous. Dude, I want to be in the room when they were like, "This is the sound we will choose.
Yes.
This will be great,
I
guys."
wonder if they like whoever did that was like, oh, this sounds perfect.
But as for final scores, because there's not much to talk about. It's not a revolutionary game in any way.
Yeah, it's. I would almost say, and the game the functionality will get better over time. That's with every game. But it still doesn't excuse like for what they did.
Yeah.
Like for what they did with rushing the project, and it could have not been. I don't know if it was people may or what is it, people can fly. I don't know. But it doesn't. It's average even at its best moments, to be honest with you. So I'm probably gonna give it a 3 as my average score.
Me too. That's what I put.
Yeah. So because even at its best moments, and when the combat's running smooth, and we're not crashing every 5 seconds, it's still like we said, the gameplay is the best part of it. But other than that, like everything's other than that is average. So or sometimes even below average. So definitely I would say average. An average looter shooter, and it could have been more, I think.
So, in final thoughts, Blake, final thoughts on Outriders.
I would say if you, oh God, I mean it's been out for a month now, but if you're thinking of buying it, I wouldn't buy it. I would, if you have Game Pass or something like that, or you can find it really cheap, then maybe. And if you have friends to play with, because it would be probably so boring without friends, to be honest with you. But that's with a lot of games. But I personally wouldn't spend $60 on this game.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel the same?
At this point, I would say like $30, if that.
Think 30? Yeah, that's high for me.
If they fix it, $30. But as it,
that's if they fix it.
Yeah. But if you have the Game Pass, no harm in trying it out.
Yeah. If you have the Game Pass and you have a couple, and you like have friends to play with, then yeah, I would probably try it out. But when they fix it, then you can do it.
Yeah, I'm not paying $60 for this. It's not super amazing to justify that.
Yeah, no. I mean, even if the gameplay was just almighty gameplay, it doesn't justify it,
Yeah.
So
for my,
I hope to see what other projects they come out with. They're probably gonna be working on this game for a long time.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long they're gonna be working on this game, but I want to see what other projects. Maybe I can pull Storm 2.
Hey, we got Rage 2.
Oh come on.
Yeah, we got Rage 2, and that was a game nobody cared about.
Literally, I'd never even heard of that game, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but overall, adding up the points, I got 11.5 out of 20.
What did I get? I don't know.
Which basically a 6 out of 10, if you want to put it. Or to even simplify it further, I would give it maybe a B minus, C plus.
Mine would probably just C.
Yeah.
C.
It's get some buds together who are patient because you're probably gonna have problems, and try it out. It's pretty fun.
Yep.
Like, is that basically your thoughts?
That is my thoughts. That is it. That is the review.
Yeah, Outriders outclassed. No, come on.
Outclassed by Anthem.
No. That's the bell.
Oscar the good life. He lives a good life. Has a couch. He has a TV. Hulu. He has the Hulu. Yeah,
Shrek,
man.
Shrek 5, the Shrekening. Dude, if they do that, it's gonna make $1 billion.
It's gonna be called Shrek 5 Home Shrekker. Shrek's gonna cheat on his wife.
I just went out to prom with a dead guy and I didn't find the key.
Bro.
I just took driving instructions from a dead guy
Big deal.
and I didn't find a key. I just went
Idiot.
synchronized swimming with the dead guy and I didn't find a key.